Just finished my drink, but I'm gonna have a second one. Staying hydrated is no joke. Anyways, how we doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Let me adjust my shoulders so that they're not tense. I said in the last video that I was going to talk about my self-sabotage habits, my self-destructive habits. So let's dive right in. If the audio sounds a little bit weirder today, it's because the air conditioning is really heavy in my room, and it blows over here because my vent is right there. And I took out the cover because it's cold and it gets really warm in my room, and I appreciate the warmth. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into my past self-sabotaging things that I used to do. Something that really sabotaged my confidence back then was me thinking that I was ugly. There's a lot of comments that I got as a kid that weren't really like mean, but like I dwelled on them a lot more than I should have. Comments like, "Oh, with your new haircut, you look like a girl," or "Yeah, your ears are too big. You should grow out your hair to cover them," or like, "The only thing good looking about you, Isaac, is your eyes," or like the fact that I don't know. I don't wanna get into it because it's not something that springs positive reinforcement. But comments like that weren't necessarily calling me ugly, except that last one. But like, those comments weren't necessarily calling me ugly. But the more I thought about it, the more I connected dots, and the more that I assumed that that's what they were saying, is that they were just calling me unattractive and ugly. Which is not something you want to hear as a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old. And I got those comments until I was 16. Once I was 16, I actually started developing thoughts that maybe I wasn't so ugly, and maybe I'm actually attractive. And yeah, along with me thinking I was ugly, I also, another self-sabotaging thing that I did in my past was I thought that I was worthless. I thought that I was only worth as much as my grade was in school. I thought that I was worth as much friends as I had in school. I thought that my worth was based on how well I was receiving information in school. And I thought my worth was based on how like spiritual I am in my church growing up, and so stuff like that. And I was never really the best at it, so I always thought to myself that I wasn't worth anything because of me not meeting standards that were being met by other people, which is not the case. Everybody is worth something, no matter what type of thinking you might think. It's not true. Everybody has worth. And that's something I didn't realize until I was 18. 18, bro. Just think about 5 to 18. That's 13 years that I was constantly thinking that I was worth nothing. And along with those thoughts, I was also in my head a lot, and I was talking about myself in such a, from what I just told you, how do you think I was talking to myself? I hated myself, and I hated everything about me. I hated my smile, I hated my eyes, I hated my ear, I hated my hair, I hated my body, I hated my clothes, I hated literally anything about me. I hated. And I was always so negative towards myself, and I was always telling myself that I wouldn't hate myself if I looked like him, or I wouldn't hate myself if I had his characteristics, or I wouldn't hate myself if I got good grades like her, or if I, if I did X and I received Y, then I would like myself. And that's how I was thinking until I was 18. When I was 18, I actually started to develop habits that were good for myself. And we'll get into those later. I was always really negative and pessimistic. The glass half full, glass half empty. I was never really a glass half empty, but I was always a really negative and like just not a good influence to be around. I was always talking negatively about myself and about my life situation, about the people that were in my life, and it was just never good. Sorry, the light is really bright today. It makes me look like really angelic. Sorry. I'll have to edit it down after this. And yeah, along with the negative talk and the pessimistic outlook on life, I grew really lazy and unmotivated and complacent with my situation. I was always one of those people to complain but never change anything. I was always one of those people that was arguing all the time with adults about X and Y, and then never taking the responsibility to change myself. And that played into always feeling negative and looking negative because I was so lazy and so unmotivated to change myself that I always deflected the blame onto other things and other people and other ideas. Along with that, it gets into my lifestyle. In my notes, my lifestyle was very distraction based and short-term pleasure, prioritization, and that's not good. I was always finding comfort in my life, not through doing productive things, but from doing video games or watching rated websites. It's not a good look on you as a person. And of course, going through long periods of time of doing that, you begin to start to hate yourself. But you can't get away from stuff like that because it's so addicting. So you hate yourself, you continue to do the thing that you hate yourself for, and then it just repeats the cycle over and over and over. And it's just a never-ending cycle, really, of self-sabotage and self-destruction through that type of lifestyle. And I didn't realize that until, again, I was 18. And even when I was 18, I was struggling with video games. And even now, today, I'm still struggling with video games. Although today I only played 50 minutes. And I was only on my phone for 4 hours. 4.5 hours, I think, before recording this video. Because I didn't realize that this also contributes to my phone time. And I would always take photos of my screen time after I record. So I decided to do it beforehand. Let's see where I am in my notes. Ooh. The last bullet point I had for my script to follow was how fearful and scared I was personally to live the life that I wanted. It's kind of a hard concept to explain for me because I don't necessarily know how to word it. But I was very scared to take risks. And I was scared to live the way that I wanted because I saw how doing that can make you look. And I don't like being judged. Even to this day, I struggle with not taking risks and living the life that I want because I'm still kind of the person who wants people around myself to be proud of my achievements. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, too much thinking about that can limit yourself because you're always thinking about what you can do to impress him, or what you can do to impress her, or how you can live to impress your future mother-in-law. Just an example, but like, you see what I'm saying? It's crazy how you always think like that. And with that thought process, it makes you scared to live the way that you want because you're so focused on living the life that other people think you should be living. But that's all changed now. Everything I talked about before, I don't think like that anymore. I, of course, still struggle. I go back to that mindset sometimes, and I get really fearful, and I get really anxious, and I get really scared. And when you go through stuff like that, it's kind of comforting to know that, like, to take the responsibility off yourself and start blaming other people. And taking the responsibility off yourself makes you realize that it kind of makes you realize that nothing you do matters. So you go back into how I used to think. Like, sometimes I still struggle with thinking that I'm ugly. Sometimes I still struggle with feeling like I'm not worth anything. Sometimes I still struggle with talking negative to myself. But thoughts like that don't sit with me anymore. Of course, I acknowledge them. I think about why I'm thinking like that, and then I banish it, bro, out of my head and into the next scene where I'm really positive. And that's basically what I had to talk about today. It's my struggle with thinking about myself in that certain way, and I guess I didn't really tell you how I got over it. I just manned up. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's really shallow advice, and I don't try to put this into other people's heads a lot. But I looked in the mirror and I was like I looked dead set into myself, and I was like, dude, you're a little bitch. I was like, dude, you're a little B. Like, what are you doing with your life? Being depressed all the time and being this and that. Like, you're better than this. And boom, it worked. Obviously, that's not the way that everybody should go about it, but for some people, it really helps. And along with that, I got a partner and a girlfriend who is absolutely 100% supportive of me. And she opened my eyes to see myself in a way that I never did. And You know, some people shouldn't be in a relationship when they're going through this, but I feel like I was mature enough to do that. And you know, we just passed our 2 year anniversary not too long ago, and it's crazy how much influence she had on me, because her influence started branching off everywhere. You know, it's like it just it helps to have the people around you that think you're worth it, and that think that, you know, that you're gonna get somewhere. Because I never really felt like I had that as through my friends in high school and junior high, and my family even sometimes. Not anymore, but back then, yeah, it helps to have the positive influence that comes from, you know, a secure relationship, and it helps to have the positive influence that comes from a healthy family dynamic. And it helps to journal. I journaled a lot during my struggles, and I journaled even more while I was trying to become better, and that really helped. Along with journaling, reading books really helped me. Um, going to the gym, going to the gym is a really big factor into my confidence. And when you're confident, everything else about you just kind of meshes into each other, you know, and you start thinking differently. So going to the gym is probably my number 2 reason of how I am the way I am today. I saved right here. I know it looks a little weird just having this. I've never done this before, but I had dead skin cells that was being trapped by my hairs right here, and you know, I needed to save it. And I think I need to do this here too, because I have some dead skin cells that just aren't coming off. So if you don't see this my next video, then I had to save it. Dude, I lost my chain. I thought I lost my thought process. Where was I? Oh yeah, the gym. And along with the gym, you adopt a healthier lifestyle. And a healthier lifestyle helps you be more positive and love yourself a little bit more. Because when you're not living healthily, you kind of it translates into your mental state sometimes. So yeah, I could go a lot deeper into this. This is just a shallow, superficial little dive into it. Of course, as the time goes on and I get more used to talking in front of a camera, then I'll start doing longer videos and longer discussions about, you know, how my whole life outlook changed. Obviously, like if you're really interested into it, then maybe I'll do it, you know. But this was just a little jog into this type of discussion. I hope you liked it. I really enjoy talking about it. It doesn't have a negative effect on me anymore. If anything, I just look at it and I laugh in a way that's like dude, I used to be so dramatic, or not really dramatic, but I used to be so negative. And it's funny to think about that, and then to think about where you are now, and it's just natural to see the lessons you've learned from it rather than the regrets that you take from it. Because I don't have any regrets. Everything happened the way that it's happened for a reason. And that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. It's a bit of a longer video than I'm used to posting, which is okay. It just means that conversation was flowing nicely and that my ideas were coming out in a way that was good. I hope you enjoyed me ranting. I hope you enjoyed me ranting. And I hope that you learned something from this and that you'll tune into my next upload tomorrow. Thank you, and I'll catch you in my next one.